For the practice today, we will need a flat block like that or any kind of book and a strap or any kind of belt. And then make your way onto your back. Bring your feet as wide as your hips. So your feet hip distance, knees above the ankles, your arms alongside your body. So notice the position of your pelvis. Naturally, we have a curve in the lumbar spine. So if you take one hand and you bring your hand underneath your lower back, you notice there's usually a little bit of space. So before we go into back bends, always creating that which is called posterior pelvic tilt. So you release your tailbone to the front of the mat, so there should not be any space. Bring your arms alongside your body. So we are creating a little bit of mobility in the spine. Press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips, lift your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Let's do it once again. Before we do that, take your block. Place your block in between your inner thighs so it helps us to activate those adductor muscles that are part of the core. And the core is very important when we go into back bends because we want to stabilize that lumbar spine. That is usually naturally very flexible, so we want to stabilize the parts of the spine that are flexible, and we want to mobilize that parts of the spine that are stable but not mobile, so the thoracic spine, the upper back. So press your feet into the mat, lift your hips, lift your chest, squeezing your block. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Now adding a little bit of arm and shoulder mobility. Press your feet, lift your hips, lift your chest, reach your arms all the way over your head. As you exhale, slowly lower down, bring your arms alongside your body. One more time like that. Press your feet, lift your hips, lift your chest, reach your arms over your head. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Keep reaching to the front of the mat. Lift your chest, lift your shoulders a couple of inches. Extend your legs on a diagonal. Lower your feet onto your mat. Lift a little bit higher and lower all the way onto your mat. One more time like that. Press your feet, lift your hips, lift your chest, reach your arms over your head. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Keep reaching to the front of the mat. Fluid movements. Lift your chest, lift your shoulders a couple of inches. Extend your legs, squeeze your block. Activating those adductor muscles that are part of the core. Lower your feet onto your mat. Lift a little bit higher. Lower all the way onto your mat. Press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips, lift your chest. Interlace your hands underneath your back. Bridge position. Pausing here for a moment. Let go of your interlace, slowly lower all the way onto your mat. Let go of your block, hug your knees toward your chest, rock up and down a couple of times. Make your way up into a seated position, transition onto your hands and knees, tabletop. One round of cat and cow. Inhale, lift and extend, head, neck follows the movement. As you exhale, around. On your inhale, find your long spine. Keep your hips above your knees. Walk your hands to the front edge of the mat. Anahata Asana, or rest your forehead on the mat. Maybe chin chest. Tuck your tailbone under slightly, so keeping that slight posterior pelvic tilt, ribs in. Keeping your forearms on the mat, slide yourself onto your front Sphinx position, untuck your toes, have a look at your elbows, readjusting your elbows so your elbows are shoulder distance, pull the mat towards your chest through your upper arms, Sphinx position. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips into your forearm plank, holding here. Once again, stabilizing that center, and then walk your feet towards your elbows, dolphin pose. Dolphin helps us to open up the shoulders, the upper back. Reversing the movement, walk your feet back into your forearm plank position. Slowly lower all the way onto your front, back into Sphinx pose. This time lift your elbows off the ground, still pulling the mat towards your chest through your upper arms, shoulders away from the ears. Lower your forearms onto your mat, bring your elbows to the sides, interlace your hands behind your back. Locust pose, Shalabhasana, lift your chest, lift your toes, lift your thighs, roll the inner thighs toward the sky, long neck, bend your knees, reach your ankles, Dhanurasana, bow pose. Press your shins into your hands, Counter action, opening the upper back. Think about that block between your inner thighs. Let go of your ankles. Lengthen your legs. Hands next to your chest. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog position. Pausing here for a moment. Downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lower your knees onto your mat. Back into tabletop position. Bring your hips towards your heels. Take your strap. We are adding some shoulder openers. So hold your strap, separate your hands roughly 1 arm length. We might need and want to readjust in the process. So from here, keeping your ribs in, keeping that posture, pelvic tilt, keeping your shoulders away from the ears, reach your arms over your head. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your arms behind you. Exhale. Maybe you need to bring your hands a little bit closer or maybe a little bit wider so you feel is happening here without tensing your shoulders, without bending the arms. So let's do a couple more rounds with your breath. Inhale and exhale. With your breath, inhale up and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Maybe bring your hands a little bit closer and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Let go of your strap. So this is something you can do in your daily life whenever you feel like you want to create a little bit more space in your upper back and your shoulders. So shake it out. Place your hands onto your mat. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog position. Maybe feeling a little bit more open in your shoulders and your upper back. From downward facing dog, lift your heels. Bend your knees. Look forward, step or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Reach your arms. Inhale. And exhale, hands to your heart center, mountain pose. 1 round of Surya Namaskar A. Reach your arms towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands onto your mat. Step float. Vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Pause here for a moment. Lift your right leg a couple of inches. So stabilizing the back muscles. Replace it down. Lift your left leg a couple of inches. Replace it down, tuck your toes, lower down, low plank, push back up, high plank. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take an inhale, let it out. From downward facing dog, lift your right leg behind you, 3-legged dog. Bend your knee, rotate your right hip open. Square your hips back towards the mat. Right knee to your forehead, shoulders over your wrists. Step your foot. Lower your left knee onto your mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, come up into low lunge position, Anjaneyasana. Keeping those ribs in, tailbone towards the ground. Interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, maybe sinking hips a little bit slower towards the ground. From here, let go of your interlace. Reach your arms towards the sky. As you exhale, hands onto your mat. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee off the mat. Straighten your front leg, right hip back, left hip forward. Wide-legged pyramid pose just for a moment. Rebend your front knee, extended side angle. Lower your left heel onto your mat, align heel to arch. Left arm all the way over your head. Lengthening the whole left side. Yeah, this does not look like a back bend at all, but a lot of same actions. Left arm up, flip the palm, bring your arm behind your back. Half bind, full bind. Let go of your bind variations. Left arm up, look down, rise all the way up. Warrior 2, flip the palm, reverse. Exhale, hands onto your mat. Left hand down, right arm up. Easy twist, transitioning into wild thing. Lift your hips, lift your chest. Come back into your side plank, right hand onto your mat. Exhale, lower down, low plank. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Second side, lift your left leg behind you. Bend your knee, rotate your left hip open. Square your hips back towards the mat, left knee to your forehead, step your foot. Lower your right knee onto your mat, untuck your toes. Inhale, come up into your low lunge position. Interlace your hands, the opposite thumb on top. Anjaneyasana, second side, lengthen your spine and then sink your hips a little bit more towards the ground. Let go of your interlace. Reach your arms towards the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, hands onto your mat. Tuck your right toes. Lift your right knee off the mat. Straighten your front leg for a moment. Rebend your front knee. Lower your right heel onto your mat. Extended side angle. Right arm all the way over your head. Right arm up. Flip the palm. Bring your arm back. Half bind, full bind. Let go of your bind variations, left hand down, right arm up, rise all the way up into your warrior two, flip the palm, reverse. Exhale, hands onto your mat, frame your front foot, right hand down, left arm up, easy twist, wild thing, second side. Come back into your side plank, left hand onto your mat, lower down, low plank, inhale, up dog. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog position. On your inhale, lift your right leg behind you, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, rotate your right hip open. Flip the dog into your wild thing. So now we are combining a couple of things. Transition into a full back bend, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Come back into your side plank or three-legged dog. Right knee to your forehead, step your foot. Lower your left knee onto your mat. We are going back into that low lunge position. Reach your arms towards the sky. So now we are adding a little bit of quad stretch. So bend your left knee, bring your heel towards your sit down. And for now, press your shin into your hands. So we are opening the shoulders first, and then bring your heel towards your sit bounds. Let go of your ankle, reach your arms towards the sky, inhale. As you exhale, hands onto your mat. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee off the mat. Stay on the ball of your left foot. Inhale, come up into crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to your heart center, twist to your right side, hook your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Option 1, you stay. Option 2, open your arms. Option 3, bind. Let go of your binds. Place your hands onto your mat. Lower your left knee onto your mat and tuck your toes. So from here, we are going back into that low lunge position, Anjaneyasana. We are adding a little bit of back bend. Yes, so sinking hips towards the ground. This time, bend your left knee and then catch the inner arch of your left foot. So it requires a little bit or a lot of shoulder rotation. We've done a little bit of prep before. So from here, you rotate your left elbow towards the sky, like we did in that dolphin pose, and then adding the second arm. Let go of your variations. Place your hands onto your mat, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee off the mat. Straighten your front leg. Pause here for a moment. Lengthen your spine. Rebend your front knee. Lower your left knee onto your mat. Back into low lunge. Heel to your right foot to the left edge of the mat. Setting up for pigeon pose. Right hip back, left hip forward. So we are going straight into king pigeon. So like we did before, bend your left knee. Catch the inner arch of your left foot. Rotate your elbow towards the sky. Square your ribs, your chest towards the front. And then adding the second arm. Let go of your variations. Place your hands onto your mat. Tuck your left toes. Extend your right leg all the way back. Shake it out. Stand back, downward facing dog position. Second side, lift your left leg behind you. Bend your knee, rotate your left hip open. Flip the dog into wild thing. Transitioning into full back bend. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Come back into your three-legged dog. Left knee to your chest. step your foot. Lower your right knee onto your mat and tuck your toes. Inhale, come up into low lunge position. So now we are adding that quad stretch. Bend your right knee and then press your shin into your hands first. Opening the shoulders. Whoop. It's a little bit of balance. And then bring your heel towards your sit bones, or your right sit bone in this case. Let go of your ankle, reach your arms towards the sky, inhale. As you exhale, hands onto your mat, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee off the mat. Straighten your front leg. Pausing here for a moment, and then bend your left knee, reach your arms towards the sky, low lunge, exhale. Hands to your heart center, twist to your left side, hook your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh. Option 1, you stay. Option 2, open your arms. Option 3, bind. Let go of your binds. Place your hands onto your mat. Lower your right knee onto your mat. Untuck your toes. Going back into that low lunge position. Sinking hips towards the ground. Bend your right knee. Catch the inner arch of your right foot. Let's try second side. So rotate your elbows. Still keeping that extra rotation towards the sky. And maybe your left hand joins. Let go of your ankles. Place your hands onto your mat. Heel to your left foot to the right edge of the mat. Lower your left shin onto your mat. So we are going straight into King Pigeon. Same action. Bend your right knee. Catch your right foot from the inner arch. And then rotate your shoulder or your elbow toward the sky. Adding the second arm. Let go of your variations. Place your hands onto your mat. Tuck your right toes. Extend your left leg all the way back. Shake it out. Step back, downward facing dog position. Take an inhale. Let it out. From downward facing dog, lower your knees onto your mat. We are going into a shoulder stretch against the wall. So we will need that block. Place your block between your forearms and your wrists. So actually your wrists and your palms are facing towards the sky. So we are creating that extra rotation. Move against the wall. So you place your elbows all the way against the wall. Your palms facing towards you. Like we did in Anahata Asana, just a little bit more intense. And then pausing here. You're trying to touch the wall with the back of your hand. Slowly coming out. Maybe shake it out if you need. And then probably feeling a little bit more open in the shoulders. We are taking that back bend, Urdhva Dhanurasana, against the wall. To open the chest and the shoulders a little bit more. So think about that block between your inner thighs. You place your hands against the wall. So the outer edge of your pinky finger is touching the wall. Press your hands into your feet. Come onto the crown of your head and then straighten your arms and your legs. Try to bring your chest against the wall, so straighten your legs. Bring your feet together, knees together. Slowly coming out. Rest here for a moment, and then we will take that pose just in reverse. So bring your feet against the wall. The balls of your feet are pressing against the wall. Bring your arms shoulder distance, your elbows above your wrists, come onto the crown of your head, and then straighten your arms into your legs. Straighten your legs, feet together, knees together as much as you can. Coming out, chin to chest, slowly lower onto your shoulders, rest here for a moment. We are going back to the wall, so this time we will place our forearms onto the mat. Yeah, so going a little bit deeper. First, same entrance, so back into Urdhva Dhanurasana, and then from here, lower your forearms onto the ground. So you want to bring your elbows against the wall. And then straighten your legs, feet together, knees together. Slowly coming out. And then going the other way. So bring your feet, the balls of your feet against the wall. Come back into your Dhanurasana. And then lower your forearms onto the ground. Feet together, knees together. Coming out. Rest here for a moment, feet as wide as the mat. Reconnect into your breath, to any sensations. And then slowly come back into a seated position. So we are adding some fun transitions. So come into a camel prep. Come onto your shins. Keep your toes tucked. So it requires quite a lot of leg strength. Think about squeezing that block between your inner thighs. Camel pose, inhale, lengthening the whole front side. As you exhale, lift your chest towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, lift. And then from here, transitioning into Urdhva Dhanurasana. So place your hands onto the ground. Lift your knees off the floor. Straighten your legs and your arms. Reversing the movement. Coming out, untuck your toes. Hips towards your heels. Gently sway from side to side. Okay, we are going back to the wall. Take your block. So once again, holding your block between your wrists, your palms facing towards the sky. We are going into an L shape against the wall. So it helps us to strengthen and open to stabilize the shoulder joints. The distance is roughly 1 leg length from the wall. We might need and want to readjust in the process. So you can come up into your standing and then you can measure the distance. This is where roughly your elbows would be, where my left foot was. So you place your forearms onto the floor, walk your feet against the wall. So you're creating that L shape. You're aligning your hips above your shoulders above the elbows. Pushing your forearms into the ground, ribs in, thinking about that posterior pelvic tilt. And then lift one leg up towards the sky. So we are transitioning into Pincha Mayurasana. If you feel stable here, you can lift both legs. If you feel stable here, we are adding Scorpion. So bend your knees, bring your chest through your upper arms like we did in Dolphin Pose. Maybe transitioning into that back bend. Coming out, maybe back into your Urdhva Dhanurasana. And then all the way to standing. Shake it out. Yeah, allow yourself to play and explore and always listening. How does my spine feel? Yes, always listening to your breath. If you're holding your breath, maybe you went a little bit too far. And always listening to that lumbar spine. How does this feel? If you're practicing scorpion against the wall, you can also do that. So you place your block onto the ground. So your elbows are roughly shin distance away from the wall, shin distance. So from here, coming up into that forearm balance, bend your knees, bring your feet against the wall. Think about that posterior pelvic tilt, ribs in. Bend one leg, and then think about bringing your chest through your upper arms, chest through your upper arms, maybe one foot at a time, maybe both feet. So the wall will help you. And then coming out, rest for a moment. Shake it out. So coming back into a standing position, so the spine should feel quite open. Let's add a couple of twists. So bind behind your left leg. Relax your head, relax your neck. And then bind behind your right leg. Let go of your binds. Inhale, halfway lift, and rise all the way up to standing. So coming into a standing position, we've done a little bit of that shoulder rotation. Release your tailbone towards the ground, ribs in, bend your right knee. So now we are adding that same action in standing. Catch the inner arch of your right foot. Rotate your right elbow towards the sky. So this is dancer's pose. Maybe adding this second arm. So finding that single pointed focus, looking at something. Your shin is pressing, your hands are pulling. And then slowly coming out. So you can practice that against the wall. So you can gently touch the wall, bend your left knee, catch the inner arch of your left foot. So let's try second side. So maybe you're here touching the wall. Yeah, this is an option if you are working on your balance. And then slowly coming out. Shake it out. Okay. So from here, we are going back against the wall, going a little bit deeper into the back bend. So from here, take your block like we did before, palms facing towards the sky. Kick up. And then this time, you bring your hips against the wall. So imagine you are sitting on the wall. I'm a little bit too far. So you notice that. Yeah, so you bring your hands a little bit closer. Roughly your fingertips are touching the wall. And then from here, sit on the wall. Should feel quite comfortable. Extend your legs towards the sky and then just allow your hips to slide down. And then slowly coming out. Rest for a moment, relax your arms. Let's sit once again with a leg variation. So, sitting against the wall. And then from here, you can bend your knees, you can straighten your legs. Pausing here. This is a pincher variation. We'll take off the wall in a moment. Coming out, and now you know how it should feel roughly. So come off the wall, hold your block. We are going back into forearm balance, Pincha Mayurasana. And then imagine there is a wall behind you. So you bring your hips against the wall and then open your legs. So like we just did against the wall, bring your chest to your upper arms. And then slowly coming out. Rest for a moment. Come all the way back up. So we are adding one final play. This time, we will take it on your hands. So place your hands onto the ground. So it depends how open your upper back is, how open your shoulders are. So we'll do the same action sitting on the wall. So first, I'll show you how to work on scorpion with the wall. So like we did with that forearm balance, place your feet against the wall. Think about posterior pelvic tilt, ribs in. And then to work on that scorpion, you bend one knee, bring your chest to your upper arms. Chest to your upper arms. Maybe both legs. Whoop. Maybe you come out. Let's try once again. So one leg, both legs. That's it. If you're using a wall, this is your option. If you're not using a wall, you find your balance in your handstand, and then you can add your scorpion legs. Any variations. You can play with that. And coming out. That's it. Last one, to open the shoulders. It is a great exercise if you're doing it on your hands or off your hands. We are going back against the wall. Bring your hips like you're sitting on the wall. And then slowly allow your hips to slide down. Coming out. Shake it out, rest for a moment. One final playtime. So come back into your handstand. And then bring your knees toward your chest. And then you can play with variations like you're sitting on the wall. Whoop. That's it, my friends. I hope this was fun. I hope this was interesting, maybe inspiring. If you have questions, if you have feedback, if you are working on something specific and you are not sure how to do those things. Yeah, I haven't given you a lot of instructions today. Yeah, some things like catching the ankle. Sometimes it is useful to use a strap, loop a strap over your ankle. So it is a useful tool. If you're not sure, in some of my videos, I have more clear instructions. So check out all the videos. And if you have any specific questions, if you're working on something and you are like, what is the next step? Why is it not working out? Let me know in the comments, ask me questions, and I will see you next time.